Episode 69 of the Travel Bros. What are we doing here, Jamie? Come on now.
I'm being a teen boy.
Episode 68 plus one of the Travel Bros podcast, so Jamie can make it through this introduction
Oh boy.
without laughing. We're going to Florida. We're going to Central Florida. We're going to be close to Gatorland, one of our favorite podcasts all time mentioned locations. But we're probably not going to have time to go to Gatorland, Jamie, because you are at the Evermore Hotel. We've already kind of done a review about Evermore and the Conrad, but you just went back, and not only has the property changed, how we can book for you has changed, and
Yeah.
we're just overwhelmed. Why don't you just get us started where you can?
Well, I'm going to throw something at you about Gatorland before we even get into it. You don't have to go to Gatorland when you stay at Evermore because Gatorland is going to come to you Fridays
Oh,
at 4
wow.
o'clock.
That
So it's
can't be
actually
true.
it is 100% true. So
Wow.
Fridays at 4 o'clock, I actually got to check this out last time I was there. Someone from Gatorland comes, they bring little alligators and a bunch of other different critters in front of the landing, and you get to check it out. So I know you didn't see that coming.
I want to tell people, not that it matters or they probably won't believe us, but that was totally unscripted.
That was not
I just
planned.
I just thought of Gatorland as I started the episode. So that's amazing. So is that every Friday? Like, can you expect to get that?
Friday, 4 o'clock at the landing. Obviously, things could change, but currently that is what they have. And it was really cool. It draws a pretty good crowd. I've gone March the last, I guess, 3 years now in a row. And they've had it this year and last year while I was there. So it's a really cool experience. I do believe you get to handle some different animals and things like that. I'll see if I have videos from last year that we can post up there. But so this is my 5th time visiting the property, 3rd time staying at Evermore. I've stayed at Conrad twice, Evermore 3 times. And let me give you kind of a highlight of what Evermore is, because I feel like not everybody knows about Evermore. And to me, I know you and I are both Baja Mar fans. I've already 2 years in kind of seeing this progress like Baja Mar. When I first started going to Baja Mar, there was very few things there, a couple restaurants, and it's grown and grown, over the years. Very similar to this. First time I went, there's only a couple lounge chairs around the lagoon. The place isn't very busy. And, every time I've gone, there's more stuff, there's more new things, there's more activities, more to do, updates, upgrades, things like that. Give you a highlight of what Evermore is. So Evermore is an 8-acre crystal lagoon. So, you picture like Caribbean blue water. You may have seen these lagoons on, I don't know, online somewhere, but it's this massive lagoon. It's not a pool. It is a giant lagoon that is like crystal blue water. There's sand beaches all around the lagoon. There's a rope swing that goes into it. There is a thing you can jump off into the water. There's paddle boards, there's kayaks, there's all sorts of activities you can do throughout the day. So that's what you've got for the lagoon. You've got a 433 room Conrad hotel at one end of the lagoon. And then around the lagoon and a little bit further away, you've got 41 villas, and these are 2 and 4 bedroom. You've got 206 flats, which these are my favorite. The flats are all 4 bedroom, 4 bathroom, really good setup. This is what we typically stay in. And then in honor of episode 69, they have 69 homes throughout the property. The homes are all 5 to 11 bedrooms, and every single one has their own private pool, which is really awesome. And these are not privately owned homes. This is super unique because these are all corporate owned. So the same company owns all the flats, the villas, the homes. So what I really like about that is no matter what you stay in, you're going to have a very uniform interior, right? So the bedrooms in the flats look just like the bedrooms in the homes, very similar feel to it. They've got bunk rooms. So all the flats have a bunk room. And I believe every home also has one of these bunk rooms. It's got like double bunk beds. It's laid out for kids. It's really cool. So that's awesome. You've got lagoon view. So those look out over the lagoon. And then you've got like garden/boardwalk view, which look out the other way. None of the homes are on the lagoon, but they're all either a short walk away or they actually have a trolley that runs throughout like the whole property that you can hop on, hop off. And you can even track it in the app, which is really cool. Whew, that was a lot to intro.
Okay. Well, let's pick a lane, Jamie. Let's talk amenities first, and then I think maybe we get into some of the rooms later. I'm going to ask some obvious questions that maybe
Yep.
might seem obvious to you, but I think might not be obvious to some listeners, perhaps. Is the lagoon heated?
So it's not. So that's a really good question. So it's not heated. So depending on the time of year you go, that can be it can be a little bit chilly. Like when I was just there, it was low 70s. So if you're from the South and you're used to a heated pool, it's going to be cold for you. Obviously, if you're from New York or whatever, growing up when we went to Florida, I was jumping in the water no matter what the temperature was, and you'll see that here as well. Like I said, I go March every year, and it's pretty chilly when we go. But there are two heated pools, one brand new one. So just before I like super dive into it, there's a brand new pool called the Boardwalk Pool, which is right behind the flats. That's heated. It's probably 80 something. It's also got a hot tub. It just opened the end of last year. It also has a little restaurant there called the Deep End, which has really good food and drinks. And then on the other side of the lagoon, you've got the Villa Pool, which is also heated and has hot tub. That one is also a great one. That one doesn't have any restaurants or anything there, but there's also an arcade at that one, which is kind of cool.
What about the pool with the Evermore slide?
Yep. And then the third pool, you've got the slide pool. So this one also is heated. So 80 some degrees, you can go in year round. And there's also a hot tub there. So all three pools at Evermore are heated and also have hot tubs at them, which is really nice.
Okay. And then I just only asked this because that the slide pool has Evermore on the slide.
Yep.
That is still accessible if you're staying at the Conrad, right?
Yeah.
It's
So if you're staying at the Conrad, you have access to everything at Evermore.
okay. Except if you're staying at Evermore, you don't have access to the Conrad pool.
Correct. Yeah. So if you're staying at Evermore, the Conrad pool is pretty much the only thing you don't have access to there. You can still book spa appointments and all dining and everything like that at Conrad.
What about the boat rides? Is that something that can be booked
Yeah.
or
So
okay.
this is one that I actually want to talk about because every time I've come, they've added or changed it up a little bit. So included in your stay, you've got paddle boards and kayaks. So those you can go out free to use. You just go over. It's first come, first served, and that's throughout the day. I want to say it starts like 10 in the morning, goes till 5-ish at night. They've added some other additional things that you can actually like book on the lagoon for during the day. They have like these giant paddle boards. I think they call them like I'll make up the name, but they're massive paddle boards that hold like 5 people. Those you
Oh,
can
okay.
pay. They're like $15 or $20. It's not a huge upcharge, but during the day you can do those. And then in the evenings, they've got a couple different boats that originally you couldn't book. So they have a really cool vintage wooden Chris Craft that's been converted to be electric.
Okay.
Originally, the first 2 years I went, it was only for part of like weddings and things like that. Where this past visit, you can now book it as like an evening couples cruise. So it only seats 2 people, but really cool, like romantic cruise you can go out around. Then they also have it's called the Duffy boat, which is, it would almost remind you of like the Jungle Cruise size boat. It probably holds like 8 or 10 people. It's $25 a person, and that one goes on an evening cruise every night. I actually think it's a couple times a night, and you can book that, which is nice. You can book for 1, 2 people or your whole group. And then they've got, I think they're called Solar Cats, which are like 2-person electric / solar powered. They're not paddle boats. You almost sit on like a lounge chair on it. And you can drive it's really cool. And drive those around the bay. And then temperature dependent. So I caught it right on the tail end in March. So if you're listening to this podcast now, it's already April. I don't think you can rent them now, but they'll come back hopefully next, colder season. They're called Spa Cruises. And I think you saw the video I posted, but it is a literal floating hot tub that you can drive around the bay. It holds 6 people. And it's got like almost like a trolley motor handle that you can steer it around, and you can cruise around the bay in a 100-degree hot tub, which is really cool. So they've done a really good job adding useful things on the lagoon that you can do when it's not necessarily like the most enjoyable swim temperature, is what I would say.
What about when you're not in the pool or lagoon? What other kind of amenities and things can you do around the property?
This is where I've really seen, I would say over the last year or so, they've added so many activities and things to do. So I'll highlight some of the things and then I'll go into like some individual activities. So they have pickleball courts, which I know pickleball, like everyone loves pickleball now. They've got basketball courts. They are in the process. Oh, excuse me. They're building a kids' playground right now.
Oh,
It'll
cool.
probably be done within 30 days or so of this podcast dropping. I know it was originally going to be mid-April. I think it's probably going to be early May now. But when I was there a couple weeks ago, all the pieces were there. It was already like blocked off where they're putting it. So there's going to be a really cool kids playground. All around the lagoon, you've got cabanas that you can rent. So you've got options to rent cabanas. And then I just saw on the website, I don't even know if this is bookable yet, but I just saw this yesterday when I was looking. They're doing evening cabana rentals, so like kind of under the stars type thing. So I don't know what that's going to be all about, but that's kind of a cool option. There's fire pits all around the bay. So there's a bunch that are first come, first served. And then you can also rent private fire pits. So that's an option. Like if you have your family there and you want your own fire pit, not have to share it. That's really cool. And I'm going to pull some of these activities because this is what I think a lot of people miss when they're looking at it. You don't realize how many things there are to do. They have something scheduled like every day, almost all hours of the day. And most of these things are complimentary. I'll call out if some of them cost money.
Okay.
So my wife, daughter, and sister, they did pretty much every morning. They either do like a sunrise stretch or a yoga activity on the beach around the lagoon. That's included. I did, this is brand new as well, open bay swimming. They do it Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. This is for stronger swimmers. They literally let you swim across the bay and back. I think I'm a pretty strong swimmer. I got almost across and I'm like, this is a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. So I do throw that out there. It is for strong swimmers. So make sure if you're going to try and do this, you're a strong swimmer. They do have tons of lifeguards and stuff out there in the morning, but it's 8 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. Really cool experience. There's actually some pictures on their like promotional on the Evermore page. And one of it was actually while I was out there swimming. So you could see my balding head popping out of the water if you check it out. They do fitness classes, and then they've got like all sorts of kids activity. They've got friendship bracelet making. You've got hair wraps, crocheting, fitness classes. Mr. Softy ice cream truck is there quite a bit. It was there while I was there. They've got Jello aquariums you can make, DIY coral reef. What else do we got? Beach pong. What else we got? Then they've got music. They've got Latin night. So they've always got something going on. They've got DJs a lot of nights. They've got a candy sushi making, capture the flag. What else we got here? Bags and brews, which I think is like cornhole. They've got a Y2K DJ night. I mean, there's so many activities they do, and I think it's really, really cool. And like I said, Fridays they've got Gatorland there. And then I was really bummed I missed this. I think it may be Friday nights. They do a constellation viewing. So they've got, like really big telescope set up. I think you can join with Bluetooth so you can actually see on your phone what they're looking at. They've got dueling pianos one night. They've got like a Build-A-Bear. They call it Stuff-A-Buddy. What else do we got here? 9 Square in the Air was, I think that's like a kid's thing. Got more fitness classes. I mean, there's karaoke on Saturday night here. There's always something scheduled. So
Okay.
if you're sitting around, the app is really cool. It shows you what's available, what you can sign up for, what's just first come, first served. But there's stuff for all ages. Here's one I just pulled: Earth Day butterfly release. So they do a lot of things for what would you call it? Like different holidays and events. So that was one thing I want to talk about too that I've got here. Not to go off on a total tangent, but they do some really cool seasonal happenings. So 4th of July, they do like a big event. And then they do for Labor Day weekend, they do the Evermore Bay games. This is one that I would actually really like to check out. They do log rolling, raft racing, relay races, tug of war, and more. And I don't know if they do this every year, but I know the first year or two they did it, they gave away like a free stay to the winning family. So like you really want to participate, you really want to do good, which I think is cool. They do what they call Halloween in Paradise. So every October, last year, I think their theme was like Nevermore. So they did like a pirate ship and they do trick or treat around Evermore Bay and they do like a Monster Mash block party. They do some cool Thanksgiving stuff. You can do like a private in-home meals. So you can actually order like Thanksgiving. It's prepared. They bring it to your flat, villa, or home. Similar to Christmas, they do like holiday decor packages. I don't see it listed on their website, but I do know for Easter, which will be 2 days after we drop this, they do like a floating Easter egg hunt in the bay, which is kind of cool. And then they do a concert series every year, like in the late winter, early spring. So like, I think it's like February and March. And there was a couple going on while I was there, which was a really cool experience. It was much bigger than I thought it was, like big stage, like really cool music, couple hours. So it's worth checking that out too, I would say.
I like it. So I'm gonna have to add some notes to all this. Well, I mean, the Evermore Games appears to be on Labor Day weekend, Jamie. So maybe that's when we
Yes.
all need to go.
I know we
and
were talking about
compete.
that, right?
We just did like 15 minutes of amenities and activities.
I
Well,
know there's a lot
how
going
about
on
this?
there.
Before we segue into the room types, how long should I be staying here?
So I think that's a really good question. I think it depends what you're coming to the area for. If Evermore is your destination and you don't plan on doing any theme parks or anything like that, I think 4 to 5 nights is a good stay. There's plenty to keep you busy. We typically will do 4 nights. This year we had to do 3 nights just because of kids' school schedule, but we've done 4 nights, and this is before they keep adding things, and we were never bored. We spent all our time on property, didn't really leave for anything. So I think 4 to 5 nights, you would have no problem just hanging out here. You would not be bored at all. I think if you were coming with a large family and you were doing a home, you could probably even do a week just between hanging out at the house, your private pool, going to the lagoon, like doing all the activities and things like that. I think you'd be fine. But I'd say 4 to 5 nights, Evermore is your destination. 7 nights or so if you're trying to hit Disney or Universal or something one day.
Okay. I mean, it's not bad. You said you like the 4 bedroom, 4 bath villas, correct?
I really like the flats, the 4 bedroom, 4 bathroom, which is the exact same layout for every single flat. They're all 4 bedroom, 4 bathroom. It's 3 king beds, really nice large living room. The kitchens are probably it's probably more well equipped than my home kitchen as far as like utensils and everything goes, like tons of forks, knives, blender, like anything you need's in there, toaster. You've got a washer and dryer. Like I said, 3 king bedrooms and then 1 bunk room, which I think they're full beds on the bottom and then twin beds on top. So you could sleep quite a few in there. The 4 bedroom, 4 bathroom flat sleep 11. So really good size for, family or even two families.
Okay. And we do have I'll throw a link to it. We have a nice full review of a 4 bedroom flat from about a year ago, but nothing's really changed in the rooms, I'm guessing, too
No,
much,
I mean,
Jamie.
room wise, they're going to be the same. And just to give you an idea, so you've got basically 3 different view types. So you've got the boardwalk view, or I think they call it garden view, maybe. That doesn't look out over Evermore Bay. Then you've got the Evermore Bay view, which those are going to be the first floor or the second floor. And then you've
Okay.
got premium Evermore Bay view, which is third, fourth, and fifth floor. Fifth floor is obviously my favorite if you can get it. It's got a little bit more light. It's got a little like bumped up extra window. And the higher up you get, the better you can see Disney fireworks from your balcony. So if you're on the third, fourth, or fifth floor, you're going to be able to see Disney fireworks. Second floor, you'll get a little bit of them. First floor, probably not so much. But a lot of people like the first floor because you can literally walk out from your living room out to the bay right there. So that's really nice.
I also really like the I don't know how to describe it, the locker roomness of the
Yes.
kids. It's like 2 bunk beds and they've got like almost little lockers, and then
Yeah, like
it's got like
cubbies.
yeah. And then just like a huge like
I
3 person
love the
sink,
sink.
big shower, separate. I just think of like some of my friends with 4 kids or something, and I'm like,
Yep.
you could actually realistically put them in there and it not be
Yeah, and what's really cool, especially with teens, obviously, so my daughter is 16, about to turn 17, and my son's 12, so they all have devices. Every single bunk side has like its own little USB port they can plug their devices in and everything, so that's really nice. Yeah, I think it's really good for, particularly if you have two families that get along really well. The 4 bedrooms are really nice. Like each parent can have, their own basically master bedroom. You could throw a teen or two in the other king bed, and then you've got this bunk room for some more kids. So I think it's a really good option. And for what the cost is compared to what you get, like if you were going to book 2 hotel rooms, you can get these flats for the same price as 2 hotel rooms usually.
yeah, the kitchen looks okay. You didn't quite zoom all the way in, but it looks just like a traditional coffee pot, which is kind of shocking, not like an espresso or Keurig. Maybe it's like a
It has
combo
the
machine. I can't
so
tell.
it's
You
a
didn't walk close
dual.
enough.
It's a Yeah, it's a
Okay.
combo. I'm not a coffee guy, but it's a combo machine. So
I
you can
know.
do, I don't know if it's Nespresso or whatever
It's probably
the other
Keurig,
one is.
I would think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's Keurig and then also like a drip pot.
Okay. That's kind of cool. And Jamie, why don't you, real quick, while we're hyping up these 4 bedroom flats and we've got this video, tell us what has changed recently now that makes these flats and Evermore, I think, even more valuable.
Yep. So this is probably the biggest news of the whole episode. So Evermore is now Virtuoso, which I think we've done a virtual episode before. But if we haven't, and you're not familiar with Virtuoso, the main benefits you're going to get here, and I even had to like double check multiple times because I'm like, this is crazy to me. So you get breakfast for two daily at Twin View per bedroom. So a 4-bedroom flat, you're getting breakfast for 8. A 5-bedroom home, breakfast for 10. You book one of these 11-bedroom homes, you're getting breakfast for 22 every day at Twin View. Um, and they just have your name and room number on a list, and you just go there, you tell them. I think it's up to $45 per person, which will cover breakfast for you. And then you also get a $100 Evermore gift card to spend during your stay.
Okay.
So some huge added value.
Are there any real limitations on the gift card or not that you've seen?
I think I mean, anything that Evermore owns and operates, which is pretty much everything outside of the Conrad, you should be able to use it on. So there's three. If we're going to talk about like where to use it, there's three different. I call it like a food hall almost. So you've got a burger place, a pizza place, and like a wrap salad place. You can use it there. Sandhill Provisions, I believe, is the name of like the coffee shop slash like convenience store, which is also right there. You can use it there. I believe you can use it at the Deep End, which is the new restaurant over at the Boardwalk Pool. So yeah, you should be able to use it pretty much anywhere on property that is Evermore side.
Okay. So we've got some video of the flats. We now can get you free breakfast, two per bedroom, which is pretty incredible. What are your other options that are worth kind of telling people about outside of the flats?
So I mean, the homes are awesome. I think that is such a unique thing to Evermore. Like I talked about, it's not, these are not like your VRBOs where everyone's decorated different and it's like mishmash. They were really intentional when they built these, that every place, and I think this is very unique, no matter what size home you get, if you're sitting down for dinner, there's a seat for everybody, right? So, you may book an Airbnb, like a 4-bedroom, and you bring 8 or 10 people with you, and there's like a dining table for 6. If you book a 6-bedroom home and there's, it sleeps, I don't know, I'm going to make up a number, 18 people or something, there's going to be tables for 18 people, right? There's going to be silverware for 18, plates for 18. So I think they're very intentional about making sure it's stocked for what the number of, people in the unit are, which is really cool. And
Okay.
everything's uniform. So if you book a 5-bedroom house or an 11-bedroom house, like you're going to have the same dishes, you're going to have the same, forks, knives. So every time you come, it's going to be the same. You're not going to get, you know, one year you've got, one setup, the next it's something different. It's going to be uniform
Mhm.
each time you come. Now, obviously, as the home gets bigger, like I toured the 11-bedroom home, there's 2 refrigerators and there's 2 stoves and there's, like things like that. There's more of because the place is larger. But other than that, like very uniform layouts, very uniform amenities. So you don't feel like you're missing something if you book one versus the other. Couple things that are unique, I would say, is the 11-bedroom home, which is 3 stories, has a slide in it that goes from the 3rd story to the 2nd story. So that is a very unique feature of the 11-bedroom home. And then the 10-bedroom, and I believe, let me make sure, and the 9-bedroom, I'm trying to see how many of these there are. There's not many, but there's in the 10-bedroom and the 9-bedroom, there's also a theater option.
Okay.
So they have like basically a movie theater in there as well, which is kind of cool.
I like that. And then, Jamie, on the topic of the homes, if I remember right, those come with parking
Y
spots?
Yeah, so, general rule of thumb is 1 parking spot per 2 bedrooms. So, if you book a
Okay.
5-bedroom house, you're gonna get at least 2 dedicated parking spots. You book a 10, you should have 5 dedicated parking spots. There is overflow parking by the flats if you happen to have more, but in general, like, you have your own dedicated parking at your unit. And then also, if you are further away, like I said, there's a trolley that runs throughout the resort that you can pick up. But they also added, this is last year, they added sun cart rentals, which are like these really fancy, I think they're 6-seater golf carts. You can also rent if you're staying in one of the homes and there's parking by the lagoon and by the landing and stuff. So you can, drive your golf cart to and from your home, which is kind of cool.
Okay. So anything you're booking there, you essentially have parking covered then.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And even the flats, the villas, like your parking is pretty convenient to wherever you're
Mm.
staying. So as you pull, like if
Okay.
you're staying at the flats, although they're spread out, it'll say like, all right, this parking lot's for building A and B, and this one's for, D and C, whatever. So you park pretty close to wherever you are. And then for the flats, for sure, they have like luggage carts and stuff too. So you can kind of wheel those, wheel your luggage in.
Okay. And I was just gonna say that is nice to know because the Conrad Orlando is valet only, and that's an extra 50
50
bucks a night
bucks.
on top of your
Yeah.
stay. So
I also want, so I'm not a golfer, just like I'm not a coffee drinker. Wanted to add about the golf courses. So these golf courses, look really cool. So there's two Jack Nicklaus designed golf courses. So one's pretty cool. It's called the Links course. So it is designed after the old course at St Andrews in Scotland. So it's got really steep bunkers and things like that. And then they've got the Cypress course, which it says this. Well, one of the key like cool features, and I've actually walked past it. There's a true island par three, right? So you're gonna lose. If I'm playing, I'm gonna lose 12 balls before I put one on the green. But it's a really cool picture. It's actually right by the furthest away homes that sit on the golf course. There's a really cool par three right there. And they're in the process of building a brand new pro shop right by the landing. So I think that's going to be really cool.
That's pretty cool. Jamie, does Evermore have a resort fee? Because obviously we don't have a valet parking fee because there's self parking. Is there a resort fee there?
So there is a super unique fee, and they call it the all-in-one fee. So this is your cleaning, amenity, damage protection fee. I don't know that it's a set dollar amount. It calculates when you're pricing it out, but yeah, they call it the all-in-one fee. So it's basically almost like think Airbnb, like a cleaning fee, damage protection. So if something happens, that's covered, and then the amenity fee, which is probably like the resort fee. So they call it all-in-one fee.
Okay. So also, I mean, that means when you're comparing pricing to the Conrad, it's $100 a day. That's essentially not even in the realm, right?
Yeah.
The interesting thing is, I don't want to be anti Conrad Orlando in our Evermore podcast, but like, is there really a reason to be staying at the Conrad,
So
especially now you can get breakfast and these benefits at Evermore?
it is so to me it's funny. I've actually priced this out this week. I've priced Conrad and I've priced Evermore for similar dates for a couple, right? Husband and wife, maybe one or two kids. I think there's a case to be made for Conrad. There can be some really good deals, but once you get over that, like if you need a suite or you need two rooms, to me it's a hard sell to choose Conrad over Evermore. Um, almost, I'm not going to say 100%, but almost 100% of the times a 4-bedroom flat at Evermore is cheaper than two standard rooms at Conrad. So
Okay.
I mean, it's a tough sell. And I just know the space that you get, right? If you're talking about a 4-bedroom flat at Evermore, it's almost 2,000 square feet. A standard room at Conrad's probably going to be in the 400 something range. So even if you have 4 or 5 people, if you wanted even like a standard suite, sometimes Evermore makes more sense.
And there are 2-bedroom villas at Evermore as well.
Yeah, so there's 2-bedroom villas as well. I actually think I have a tour that I can send you that we can put up as well. I toured a 2-bedroom last year.
Okay.
They're really nice as well. So these were part of the original property before it became Evermore. It was called like Grand Cypress Golf Resort or something like that, that's where these golf courses came from as well. But
Okay.
they're actually square footage wise, those things are massive. And the one nice thing is if you do a 4-bedroom there, so the flats hold 11 people, but again, you have 3 king rooms and then a bunk room. So if you get
Yeah.
up over 11, like I just booked somebody, they had 13 people the other day, which then you tend to have to get them up into like a 5-bedroom or 6-bedroom home. The the 4-bedroom queen villas, so they have queen bedrooms
Okay.
versus king bedrooms, they sleep 16 and they're
Wow.
like 2,500 square feet, 2,600 square feet. They're pretty massive. So they're actually a really good option too. Location's really good. They're by they got a villa pool over there. They're really close to the slide pool. You got the arcade over there, pretty convenient to the landing. So they're also a really good option.
And do the 2 bedrooms have kitchens?
Yes. Yeah. So basically anything you book at Evermore is going to have kitchen, washer, dryer, the whole nine.
Okay. I mean, theoretically, there's almost a case to be made too. I mean, to poop on the Conrad again a little bit. I mean, I'm just trying to think. If you're telling me that I can go double for less than double a regular room, maybe closer to a suite, I can get a 4-bedroom flat. The argument almost is to bring some grandparents or aunt and uncle or someone for
Yep.
free to babysit, if you have
Yep.
a kid or
Oh,
two.
100%.
That's what I'm thinking. Number 2 though is, I mean, if you're 2 kids, 2 adults, and you don't mind cooking on vacation, which is a big caveat because I don't want to cook on vacation generally. I don't judge anyone who doesn't want
Yeah.
to. But if you're one of those people who is fine landing, Instacarting a bunch of groceries to your flat and you or let's say you have certain dietary restrictions where it's, like, really
That's
difficult
where
to go
it's
out
really
and
big.
eat, I mean, just get one of these flats and you probably make up the difference in not eating out every day.
Easily. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
will say we're not big we're not big lunch eaters. So for us, like it's nice to either, you go out to breakfast, hang out at the lagoon and pools all day. And while you're not gonna have like a full meal back at the room, you might have a frozen pizza or some like I'm a meat and cheese guy, so I'll have like some charcuterie stuff in the fridge, like just like to nosh on and then go out to dinner. Whether you go to Twin Views, you've got Twin Views there, you've got Ceiba, you've got Sophia's that I really like, and then I'm drawing a blank on the name of the little outside place at the Conrad. Let me see if I have it here. Papaya Club, which is like a tiki bar. So, you know, have your breakfast at Twin View, hang out at the pool all day, whether you have lunch or not. Like, I think it's a big money saver having a kitchen.
okay. What about I totally forgot what I was gonna ask you. Oh, since we kinda compared this place to Baja Mar a little bit and made the obvious, connection changeover, what's the situation with, like, reservations here? And do I need to make reservations early and often? How do you feel about all that?
I think it depends when you're going. Obviously, I just went during spring break. So I would definitely say if you're going spring break, Thanksgiving, Christmas, major holiday, I would book your dining reservations ahead of time just because there are, right? You've got 41 villas that are going to be 2 to 4 bedrooms. So let's just call that 100 rooms, 206 flats, all 4 bedrooms. Let's call that 800 more rooms, 69 homes, 5 to 11 bedrooms. Even if we're like conservative, call that like another 500 rooms. So there's a lot of people here for, 4 to 5 restaurants. So I would say, busy times when they're filled up, you definitely want them. You go in off season, like middle of September, October or something, maybe not as necessary, but I would, I would err on the side of caution. I've seen too many people get burned at Baja Mar not having dining reservations that I would book dining reservation at least 1 or 2 ahead. Now, the good thing is here versus like a Baja Bar, you're not captive. You're 10 minutes from, Disney Springs and tons of dining options if you need to go off property. It's easy enough. You can also get Uber Eats delivered or, any of those get delivered to your villa if you need to.
That made me think of something else and I just forgot. Should've got more caffeine than Pellegrino over
I
here.
know, man.
Clearly.
We're filming late today, so I needed more caffeine as well.
Oh, man. When you were talking about reservations, it made me think of something. It's gone. That's where I was going. Here's a question, Jamie, you probably don't have an answer to, but I think getting some guidance or information on. What percentage of people at Evermore do you think on a daily basis are staying like on property for the day versus going to like Disney or Universal or Gatorland or some kind of like park or activity?
I think and this is me just completely guessing.
Sure.
I'm going to say 75% stay on property.
Okay.
Which to me is very high for Orlando, but if you're staying here, I would be hard pressed to leave every day and go to the theme parks. And I say this because I if you go to, some more on property type like where you're going for Disney, the parking lots empty out during the day because everyone goes to the parks and then they're packed at night. These did not seem to empty out during the day like some other hotels that I've stayed at in Orlando. So I do think more people tend to stay on property because there's so much to do. And to me, the lagoon is kind of your destination.
And then you do have transportation to Disney, right? Given the option.
So no, you don't.
Oh, just kidding.
So Conrad does have a bus, but if you're staying at Evermore, I think logistically it would be too difficult for them to actually make it work. And I had this conversation with my wife because she's like, "Oh, I'm surprised they don't do it." I said, "Think about if somebody had an 11-bedroom home and they had 30 people and they decided to go to Disney, they would fill an entire bus on their own."
I guess that is problematic. Yes.
So there is not transportation. I think they do have some companies they recommend if you want to like reserve a party bus or something to take your group. But most times I've gone, I'll just Uber to the parks. It's like
Okay.
$15. It's very, very reasonable and super easy to do.
You're not taking your Lyft to Minnie Mouse?
So they won't pick up here.
Oh, well, wow. This is getting worse by the
So,
minute, Jamie.
so Lyft or
Canceling
Uber.
Evermore off my list. Okay. So Evermore is considered off property then completely. by
Yes,
Disney
yeah.
standards. Okay.
So that's also where I'm like, it is convenient to go to Disney, but to me, Evermore is the destination more than like, hey, I'm gonna go stay here to go to Disney every day.
Okay. How much of an Uber ride distance? I mean, I know he says $10. Are you
15
talking?
minutes. 15
Okay.
minutes. It's close. You go to Animal Kingdom or something, it may be a little bit further, but like when we've gone to, Magic Kingdom or something, it was like 15-minute, $10, $15 Uber ride. It's pretty cheap.
Okay. So the interesting idea here is like, I think when we were talking our JW Marriott Waldorf Signia episode a couple episodes ago, they were almost complimentary hotel options to a Disney trip. This is maybe someone who wants to do an Orlando trip and also maybe go to Magic Kingdom for one day.
Yeah, I mean that's how I mean obviously you can go more,
That
but
would
I
be
feel like
me.
yes,
I'd
that's
be
so
I wanna
you know you
go
know
to Orlando for 7 days and go to Magic Kingdom for, like, 5 hours. So this
yeah.
is the place for me.
Well, and I'm a Disney fan. I go to Disney all the time. I have
Mhm.
never gone to Disney when I stayed at Evermore.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I've gone to Disney when I stayed at Conrad because I was I don't know, I just felt like it and I wanted to check out the bus, which was really cool. But every time I've stayed at Evermore with my family, we've just hung out there, like enjoyed the flat, enjoyed the lagoon. The new pool is really cool. So for the most part, like we don't leave.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what else we haven't covered. I mean, should we go into detail on some of the dining, or did you go to enough places to talk about them, or
So I could tell you, I've done Sophia's twice now. I really like it. It's kind of like upscale Italian. I think it's a really good restaurant. You can order a bunch of appetizers, flatbreads, like they've got plenty of entrees and stuff. We normally just order a bunch of stuff and share it. I've done Papaya Club, which I thought was really good. More like a tiki bar, casual vibe. So I think that's a good lunch spot. Twin View, I would say, is a more upscale, like Florida fresh fine dining restaurant. So really good dinner, kind of unique menu options. I didn't do breakfast there, unfortunately. Ceiba, which is the upscale Mexican on the top of the Conrad. I have not gone there, and I'm going to tell you why. And I think you're going to agree with me on this. So Costa at Baja Mar, right? Upscale Mexican's not my vibe. I would rather get street tacos. So I have a hard time going and spending, $50 to $100 a person for upscale Mexican. So I have not been up there yet. Oh, I've been up there, but I haven't eaten dinner there. I think next time I go, I'll probably go up, do some drinks and maybe dessert or something. But I've just never been excited. I can't get excited for upscale Mexican. That's a personal thing. A lot of people post that they love it.
not opposed to upscale Mexican. I just, man, if we're gonna talk Costa, if I don't know, the thing is, people like it. I think you should go there if you think you'll like it. But man, it is
And I think that's a kind of a similar at Ceiba. A lot of people love it. People rave about it. I'm just, I think Costa left a bad taste in my mouth, so I'm a little hesitant to do that. I
okay.
will say
Wow.
the landing has, like I said, the food court. So there's a pizza place, a burger place, and then like a kind of like a fresh salad place. My son swears the burger place is the best burger he's ever had. I think it's very good as well. I haven't had the pizza there. I did do like a Asian salad bowl type thing from the other place, which was really good. I enjoyed that. And then I've gotten pastries at the Sandhill Provisions coffee shop. I don't drink coffee. My sister's gotten a latte there. She likes it. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely some options there. Oh, the Deep End, which is at the Boardwalk Pool, that's new. It's kind of like a Mediterranean vibe. They've got really good like chicken kebabs, steak kebabs, the pretzel, like giant soft pretzel, maybe the best deal in Evermore. It was $9, came with like warm cheese dip and like a honey mustard dip. Awesome. I'm trying to think if we got anything else there. But that place was really good. I would go there for lunch. Oh, and then they've got a taco truck right on the bay. So that was a new addition as of last summer, I believe. That was awesome. They do steak tacos, I think pork tacos, chicken tacos, and then fish tacos. And then they do some quesadillas. Everything I've gotten there has been good every single time. And I've gone there a couple times. So definitely some cool options. And then I believe they're building their own ice cream stand. It's not there yet, but until then, they have Mr. Softy come pretty regularly.
Okay.
Like the ice cream truck, and they do soft serve and like different ice cream treats and stuff like that. So that's really cool.
All right, Jamie. Here's the top tip that listeners are listening for always. Our $1 million tip for this episode.
All right.
All right. In case you don't live in the South, and you are traveling to Evermore, you need to get on Instacart and you need to order all your groceries from a grocery store called Publix for
Oh yeah,
delivery.
and a sub.
Correct. Jamie, I verified this as you were talking. I wasn't even listening to what you were talking about. However, 1,200 Publixes out of their network, I have no idea how many Publixes there are, will allow you to build and order your pub subs in Instacart. So when you
Yep,
need your groceries, you can throw in your Publix subs into your Instacart order. Clutch.
I would agree.
There's there's nothing better than a Publix sub. If you don't have to leave your house to order one, I think all the better.
Publix Whole Ultimate is my go-to Publix sub, so if you need any suggestions, that's my go-to, Whole Ultimate.
But there's a really popular one that I've never had. It's like their chicken, I think it's like their chicken tender sub.
Yes, also good option. And then around Thanksgiving, they do another really good one that's like turkey and cranberry and stuff. So
Oh, yes.
yeah,
I have
Publix
had
sub
that
is
one. That one is
awesome.
good. If you're not lazy, you can just drive to a Publix and order these subs as well.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
man.
this is very conveniently located to like a lot of stuff, right? You're not isolated, you're not like in the middle of nowhere. Publix is like a 12-minute drive away. Disney Springs like 10 or 15 minutes away. So if you want to get your Disney fix without going to Disney, it's right there. Give you location wise, 20 miles from the Orlando airport, 3.5 miles to Disney, 11 miles to Universal, 7 miles to the Orange County Convention Center, 6 miles to SeaWorld, and 4.5 miles to the Orlando Vineland Premium Outlets, which that's usually a stop for my family when we go there. It's actually a really good outlet. They've got Lululemon, they've got a Disney outlet, they've got all sorts of stuff there.
Jimmy, the real question is how far is it to Peppa Pig World?
Ooh, that I don't know.
It's probably over 30 minutes because that's at Legoland. It's a little bit of a hike. Yeah, 39 miles.
Oof.
So the thing is, unless you want to stay at that awful Legoland hotel, there's pretty much nothing close to Peppa World. Last time I went, I stayed in like Sarasota or Tampa or something
Yeah.
far away. But anyway, yeah. If you've never had a public sub, I know it sounds silly to us to be hyping up a sub from a grocery store. They're pretty fantastic. And then what makes them even better is their price.
Yeah.
They're
I
like,
love Publix.
me too.
I lived in Florida before, and I joke that I've continually moved like further north from Tampa. So I lived in Tampa, which is close to where Publix was founded. I think it was in Lakeland, Florida. And then I lived in Atlanta, and I'm like, that was great. Now we're moving up to Charlotte. And I'm like, there better be a Publix where we're moving to, and there was. So it's kind of like a
You
requirement
can't
when you
go
move.
any
Like, is
further
there?
north, though, I
I
think.
know. I'm like, how far
You're
how far north
stuck.
does Publix go? Because I'm stuck until they expand.
Is there Publix in Virginia? I don't think so.
I honestly don't know. I'm thinking like Raleigh,
But
maybe.
Publix operates 24 stores in Virginia.
Okay.
Breaking news. So you pretty much can't go north of Richmond. There's
All right. Fair
one
enough.
Publix in DC, but your next move looks like Richmond. Oh, they only came to Virginia in 2017. Okay. Well, anyway, Publix is something to definitely consider. I just thought it was cool you could actually order pub subs
That
in
is
the
cool. I didn't know you could do that in Instacart.
Instacart app. Uh, so that is a good tip. And I did catch this tip from I think the Trip Tales podcast that I was a guest on once. Is I think one of her guests was saying like they do their Instacart order for their trip before they leave, and they
Oh, that's
schedule it for
smart.
like a couple hours after they land. That way you just show up and, take the order. It is really smart. However, I had a friend, man, was this a friend? I don't remember. Someone either on that podcast or some other podcast I listened to, a friend was telling me they did all of that and they sent, oh no, is a different friend of mine who actually has a big social media following. I'm good friends with her husband, but she ordered like $300 or $500 worth of groceries for this huge trip, and she didn't change her address and sent it to her
Oh, went
house when
home?
they were, yeah, when they were, on some vacation for a week. So be
That's
careful
funny.
if you
That'd be
do that
brutal.
as a plan. Yeah, it would be brutal. But it's funny too, also because that I'm 90% sure it's the same person who had the Conrad Orlando valet do a awful joyride in her car
Oh boy.
and videoed it and posted about it. Yeah. So that was unfortunate because they had like a dash cam
Oh, that'd be
and the
brutal.
and the valet is just like flooring it down the valet lanes like over and over and over again in their car. So relevant to the Evermore. But hey, once you're at Evermore, you don't have to deal with that situation. Jamie, someone's listening to this episode, they do feel inclined to book at the Conrad. Is the Conrad in Hilton for luxury? And if
It,
so, what are those benefits if they're booking over there?
it is. And I actually, like I said, I priced it recently. They had a pretty good 25% off promo. So it priced pretty competitively, where Hilton for luxury was actually lower than any publicly available rate, which happens pretty often here. Hilton for luxury comes with breakfast for two daily, $100 property credit, welcome amenity, upgrade, early check-in, late checkout based on availability. And one of the unique things that also comes with is double Hilton points. So if you're a Hilton person, you can rack up some points there as well.
That is always exciting. And then, Jamie, do you have any kind of spa access just staying at the Conrad, or do you have to have a service
I believe
booked?
you
Do
have
you
to have a
know
service
offhand?
booked. And I say that because the last time I stayed there, I booked a service so I could actually see the spa, because the last time I went, I asked if I could just tour the spa and they said no.
Wow. Shut you down.
Shut me down. They have a cool outdoor area, which I thought was neat. So it is a really nice spa area. You could, do your massage and everything. And then outside they've got some hot tubs and cold plunges and all sorts of stuff. And there's like lush greenery around and everything. So it is a very nice spa.
That is good to know. And then basically, Evermore is using the Conrad as its sole spa, right? There's not any other
Yeah, there's
alternative
not
spa
another.
you can use.
No. Now, Evermore does have its own fitness center, which I think is pretty well equipped. That is the upstairs of the landing. That's where like the food court and everything is. That's kind of like your central hub if you're staying there. So upstairs, really nice, well equipped fitness center. They've got like a classroom too if you want to like go and do different class and activities. They had a really unique piece of equipment. I'll see if I can find a picture to send to you. It's for golfers, but I'd never seen it before when I was doing the tour, and I'm like, what in the heck is that? And it's like a $5,000 golf trainer of some sort that they have, which is kind of unique. I've never seen anywhere. But they've also got like some shuffleboard and things like that outside of the gym for kids to do up there, which is kind of cool.
Okay. That is pretty nice. And then if you're at the Conrad, there's another Conrad gym in the
Yeah,
spa
Conrad
over
also
there.
has its own fitness center.
Okay. Any parting thoughts? Any last things on Evermore before we wrap this one up?
So I'm like forecasting into the future. I would book this place now because I saw what Baja Mar was 7 or 8 years ago and what it is today. And I've got a feeling that it's going to be similar, right? So right now pricing is really good. It's kind of a hidden gem. I don't think if you talk to any of your friends and you say, oh, Baja Mar, people will be like, oh yeah, I've heard of that. You say Evermore right now, I do still think it's kind of like flying under the radar. People don't know about it. But every time I go, it's busier and it's more popular. And I think it's only going to continue because they keep adding like new and great stuff that makes it even better. So I think go now when it's still, it's not selling out and it's not crazy expensive and it's still accessible. So that's my recommendation.
Okay. What do you think the timeline for that is? Like, do you think in 2 or 3 years we're doing a update and we're like, this place is just booked to the max?
Yeah, I do think so. Or I don't know if it'll be booked to the max, but it'll be much more popular, much harder to book, I think.
Okay. When you're talking like, well, let's say when you're talking like the 4-bedroom flatstone stuff, they have a good amount of inventory of those though, correct?
Yeah, so that is the most inventory of everything. So they have 206 flats.
Okay.
I think where it starts to get, where I think you're going to start to see it get a little trickier, I think about Baja Mar. There used to be fountain view rooms, or a base room was fountain view, and then you had ocean view balcony, and the price spread was not very significant. And I think what you're starting to see now is like a big price difference between views and things like that. And I think you'll start to see where these Evermore Bay view rooms start pricing up really high, because if I'm going, that's where I want to stay, right?
Right.
You're going for the bay. It's beautiful to look out at. So I think I could see us starting to see that where those get pricier and pricier because the demand's there.
Okay. Jamie, I love it.
I could be completely wrong.
Sure.
But that's
Just
what I
your
think.
prediction. I was trying to find how many yards you swam trying to get across this lagoon, and I couldn't figure it out. But
I want to say, and I don't know if this was, someone said 300 yards. Now, I don't know if that was across and back. Because when I went, it was like the 3rd or 4th open swim. And I think the very first one, it was like a former Olympic swimmer or somebody was there. And he like cooked across and back. And I could be totally making this up, but I thought I heard one of the workers say like, oh, he said it was 300 yards. Now, I assume that was across and back maybe, but I don't know that for sure.
that's probably only one way, I bet.
I mean, it's a massive lagoon, but I also
300 yards would essentially be 3 pools laid out back to back.
3 football
Like 3
fields.
like Yeah. Three like Olympic pool. An Olympic pool is 100 yards, right? I'm pretty sure.
No.
No?
100 yards is a football field.
Oh, what's Olympic pool length?
I'm going to say like 20 or 30.
It's because it's 50 meters. So what is that in yards?
50.
Yeah. Okay, so 55 yards.
So this would be, what, 3 out and backs. Let's see.
Jamie, my 6-year-old daughter can do that. So I'm a little unimpressed with you right now.
I'm trying to see if it'll still tell me. Oh, I think it's across because this says it's roughly 330 yards across.
Okay.
That's what ChatGPT tells me. So yeah, I guess I swum 500 to 600.
Yeah, it's a decent swim. Did you have a wetsuit or did you just go out there in your
No, it was freezing.
Shorts?
Just had to tough it out.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was cold. It was like 70 degrees. But I wasn't going to be the one. Some people did have wetsuits on. They also looked prepared. They had goggles, they had wetsuits. Me?
Wait, you had goggles, right?
No. I didn't plan on doing this.
What? Oh my gosh. Okay, no goggles is unhinged. Okay.
I also don't like goggles.
Now that people have listened to our podcast, they will be prepared, unlike you, hopefully.
Yeah, at least bring goggles.
All right. Jamie, I think we're going to wrap this one up. If you want more Evermore content, or Conrad content, we have another episode I will link to. We've got some flats videos. Jamie's going to be working on a property tour.
Got a full property tour.
Kind of walk through. You'll see all these different areas, get a good feel of it. If you are inclined to stay here at Evermore or the Conrad or really anywhere else, drop us a link in the bio, hit us a message, travelbrospod.com/book with us. We'd be happy to help you with our trip. We just ran through a bunch of spring break trips. We got a few other people on spring break trips, and then we got plenty more coming. We love it. We have a ton of fun. And
yeah, I would say this is a great place for the summer. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, you too.
If you're looking for a summer trip, that lagoon's going to be toasty warm. So
and Orlando is easy to get to. You can't argue that, at least.
It is easy to get to.
So I mean, I assume we don't need to open Google Flights and walk through a direct flights to Orlando for people, but I imagine most people in America are within 2 hours of an airport that can fly direct to Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, I would
Seems
agree.
like a safe bet. All right, guys. Well, until next time, we will see you next week for big episode 70. Later.
See ya. Morning. Morning. Sorry. Thank you.
You able to get in there?
Yeah, that was awesome. I appreciate it. Yeah, you let us in. Thank you.
No, of course.
Hey, morning again. Morning. Morning. It's your birthday? Happy birthday.